Okay, hello everyone. Okay, today we start a new lesson, but continue from the old lesson, right? It's level 12 reading part 3, unit 5. So in this part 3, it is comprehension skill, right? So it is unit 5 and finished. The last one is skimming, right? For unit 6 for comprehension skill. So today we will study about a very longer passage. We have study strategy here. So the first strategy, we study about the new newspaper and website. So reading a long passage, so how can we read about newspaper and website. And second strategy, we study about feature article in newspaper, magazine, website also, right? And strategy C, we study about chapter or section of textbook. So what the format of chapter and section of textbook that we read every day, right? 3 kinds of strategy. So before we start, let's go to our vocabulary first. I just give only the division, right, for example, because we will read a lot in our text. Okay, the first one is overall. See it here. Attitude, taking everything into account. We can say complete, whole, entire, or total. The total or something, right? In Khmer, what does it mean? What? Room. Yeah, very good. Because of right? Room. Okay, the second is a projector. Noun, a device that is used to project ray or light, especially an apparatus with a system of lens for projecting light or film on a screen. We can say a slide projector, especially in university, right? It have a slide that display for the picture or letter that the instructor want to show, right? In Khmer, what does it mean? We are very good, right? It can say but up a channel slide in Khmer, in different. The word is mark, make a visible impression or strength on. We can say signal indicator notice. When you write something, you mark something, right? To make it another person to know what's in it. Yes, of course. The word is margin, the edge or border or something. We can say boundary or limit at the edge of something, for the edge on the book, right? In Khmer, what does it mean? What? Rum, right? Okay. Game, right? Rum, okay, right? Very good. The word is fair, a gathering or stall or amusement for public entertainment. We can say exhibition show when it have a fair, I mean it display for something for the customer, right? To buy it. In Khmer, what does it mean? Yeah, everything, right? For a businessman, they have a fair. Another word is symbol. The sixth word. A mark or character used as a conventional representation of an object, function, or process. Example, the letter or letter standing for a chemical element or character in musical notation. We can say figure, signal, or mark, right? When you have a symbol, it is represent something in Khmer. We are very good in right? Especially in mathematics and chemistry, right? Have that. It's iron symbol for what, right? For that. Okay, another word is outline. A line or set of line enclosing or indicate the shape of an object in sketch or diagram. We can say diagram, right? When you outline something, that means you draft it before it become to official word, just like the outline, the essay before it come to official essay, right? In Khmer, what does it mean? Yeah, very good. Grow, right? Grow. Another word is depend. Another 8 word. We control or determine by. We can say count, bet, or calculate. Depend on. It's based on something in Khmer. What? Yeah, silent. Another word is assault. Make physical attack on. We can say attack or sell. When you assault on somebody, that means you attack, you fight it. In Khmer. Yeah, the last word is reckless. Headless or danger, the consequence of one action, rash or impetuous. We can say rash, needless, or thoughtless, or careless. You don't make and careful on something, right? In Khmer. Yeah, careless, you can say, right? We finish and go to our book, right? It's a lot. That's why I don't read the example. For the first one, strategy 0, right? What we studied today is reading long passage. So what is reading long passage mean? Open on page 194. I read it all for you is a lot, right? After that you understand, then go to do the exercise very fast for you. The first one, right, from Starter 194. A longer non-fiction passage in English is like paragraph anyway. So we study about non-fiction in non-fiction passage. That means the real passage, right? Not a fiction make up story. Okay, the first one is all about one thing, person, or idea, or the topic, right? First one, immediately. The second is include writer idea about the topic, the overall idea of the passage. The third, it contains the idea that is planned or develop overall idea. Okay, the third, the last one is structure in many way to help reader follow the writer thinking. Yeah, the first one is idea of the topic or person. Second, overall idea of the passage. Third, develop the overall idea. Overall idea that means to sum up idea, right? We study an idea here, this word. And to follow writer thinking. Okay, it is 4 ways of non-fiction. That the real story, right? Non-fiction. Okay, in this unit, you will learn skill for understanding information and idea in longer non-fiction passage. These skills are useful when you are reading textbook, exam passage, magazine, newspaper article, or online article, right? So it helps you longer passage for textbook, exam passage, just like you do the exam IELTS, magazine, newspaper article, and online article, right? So what is it? In the long passage of the outline, we will study it later, right, for that. In our series strategy here, just like I told at the first. Okay, structure of longer passage. This is the key role, right? Before you know, most non-fiction passage, except for informal writing such as blog or email, are structured in similar way with three parts. Okay, this is the outline, right, for the non-fiction of blog or email. Okay, the first one, introduction. You can see the first paragraph present the overall idea of the passage. Reader in English usually look here to find out what the passage is all about. Okay, this is overall passage. That means the sum up, right? It have the topic and then the main idea 1, 2, 3, and then to the develop. Develop, we can say in other words, is a body, right? The first paragraph present overall idea of the passage. Reader in English usually look here to find out what the passage is about. To extend idea, right, of the main idea that modify the topic. And the last one is conclusion. You can say final. The last paragraph refers to overall idea and may add an opinion or comment. In here, right, for blog or email, you can repeat the topic again, right, for the starter, introduction, then give your own idea. Okay, as with paragraph, see in part 3, unit 4, we studied already, have a 5. Writer use pattern of organization to explain the idea in longer passage. If you can identify this pattern, you will be able to follow the idea better. Okay, have 5, we'll see it next. This is usually an overall pattern for the whole passage. The paragraph within the passage may follow the same pattern or may have different pattern. Here are patterns you learn about in unit 4. It have listing, right? Listing the idea, sequence, comparison, problem solution, and cause effect. We studied already, right, for the previous lesson. Okay, and go to another on page 195. This is just starter, right? Before you know it, reading for study, right? So how can you read for the study? The first one, when you read longer passage for studying or research, you can understand and remember better if you active work with the text. In this unit, you will practice working with longer passage in 3 ways. So longer passage, how can you, the strategy that you can do, right? First one, by underlining and marking. This helps you decide which are the most important word, phrase, or sentence. By making outline an important fact and idea in the passage, this helps you understand better how the idea related to each other. It also helps you to remember them better. Okay, first one is underlining and making, and the second one is outlining the fact and the idea in the passage, right? This is the main idea of that. We will do it next in our exam. You will know it better. Okay, the first one is take, right? Take and marking. See, underline and marking. Take and marking. Do you mark your text in some way when you are reading your post by underlining, highlight, or writing symbol or note in the margin. before you start marking a passage or session of textbook, you should first read through it quickly to understand overall pattern of the organization or the overall idea. Then go back, start marking, right? Just start marking the overall idea, right? What is talk about the main idea, and then if it is important, you write it in the margin at the corner of the passage, right? Or essay or paragraph that you study. Okay, this is the starter, and go on outlining on page 196. This is marking, right? The second is outlining. So what outlining means? On page 196 at the bottom. In unit 3 and 4, you learn how to outline paragraph. We studied already. Now you will learn about outlining longer passage. Before you try to make an outlining, you should read and mark a passage. Then you can use your marking to help you decide what to put the outline and how to format it. Okay, outline is more effective study method than just making a text, marking a text. You are much more likely to remember idea and information after you written them down in outlining. Okay, outlining, you can see practice 1 on page 197 to make it sure. The early cinema, that means the cinema at the first time. So introduction, this is overall. Cinema go out of earlier form of entertainment at the end of 19th century, right? So 19th century is at first. I just give you the answer, right? Because it is in the line there. And develop, it has a main idea. So what is the main idea of early cinema? And it has a supporting fact and idea. What supporting fact and idea of the first main idea, and then second main idea, third main idea, supporting fact and of the main idea, right? You can see the plotting detail. Okay, we will start study about it. It is early cinema in here. And go on another one. This is outline. You studied already, right? It's not difficult. Type of passage on page 198. It just started first, not the passage that we study. Okay, in this exercise, you will look at a different type of longer passage to see how the structure can vary and how ideas are expressed. You will practice and find pattern, marking text and marking outline in this different passage. Okay, this is 3 strategies that we study. The first one is pattern. Now the term we studied it already. It have 5 distinct sequence, comparison, problem solution, and cause and effect. And second is marking, mark the important, right? Important, we can say main idea, right? And marking and outline. Outline, we just give the topic, main idea 1, supporting of the main idea, supporting detail, right? Main idea 1, that means if the part, the essay, right? It have 4 paragraphs. So the first one is the overall idea, right? We can say starter, and the body is a main idea 1, main idea 2, and the last one is the conclusion, right? Okay, you got it already. And go on strategy 1, right? Just start. New article, newspaper and website. So what is a new article, newspaper and website? This article tell about recent event in the news. They may be short or long, depend on the importance of the event. The space in the newspaper or on the website. They generally contain a lot of facts, including name, place, date, number, and so on. So longer and shorter depend on the information, right, in that event. Okay, read an English language news report. Expect to find out immediately what it's about. So journalists always give information at the beginning. Okay, so for newspaper and website, they just give the information at the starter, right? Okay, so let's see our line. What is it about for newspaper and website? Introduction. The first sentence gives the basic information about the event. This is our idea. What happened? Who was involved? When and where it happened? Why did it happen? So it for the newspaper and website, they ask about, we can say 5W question, right? What, where, when, why, and how. Okay, and developing. The rest article explain and give detail about the event. It includes quotation, people opinion, and statistic number. The paragraph may be short or may have not a clear pattern. This often no conclusion because newspaper often do not read at the end. Okay, develop, we can say detail about event, quotation or statistic, and maybe short or not clear pattern. Clear pattern here that means a file, it have a listing, consequence, comparison, problem, solution, consequence, don't have clear out there. Just give five of your equation and what they are then by and how. And have no conclusion also. Okay, so now the writing of new article is usually impersonal, not in the first person I, usually not include writer opinion. So they don't give writer opinion, right? Because they give just only the information, right, of the event. Okay, this is for strategy. We will go next on there. Go on strategy 2 on page 200. This is a kind of reading longer we study. Figure article 200, right? Newspaper, magazine, and website. This is another type, right? Longer episode of newspaper, magazine, and website. So what is the outline that they have? These articles are usually longer and give background information about people, place, issue, or scientific, medical, culture, or social development. Writer try not to make enjoyable and interesting to read, so they are usually fewer facts than in the new report. So they just adding more, right? It's not fact. For the real example, it don't have a lot, right? Just make the reader. The more you read, the more you enjoy to read. You want to read more, right? About talk about the people, issue, scientists, medical, culture, or social development, right? That newspaper, magazine, website that you read every day, right? You can say talk about celebrities a lot. Celebrity, the famous person, right? That you want to know about him. Introduction, right? What is it about? The outline. The first paragraph usually start with something to catch reader attention. A description, comparison, quotation, etc. The overall idea is usually at the end of the first paragraph or the beginning of the sentence. So the first one, they don't talk a lot. They just catch your attention. So for the good writer, the first one is very important. The starter, right? We can say the hook. You hook the reader, right, to make them to want to read. Just like one of our understand, you should know, right? First starter is very important. If you don't write it very good starter, they don't want to look at the middle. So what is the important another is the end conclusion. They look at a lot for that. For the speaker also, for the starter is very important to make them, and the body just tell about what the first the topic is all about, what the starter is all about, just expand there. They don't focus on much on the body. Okay, so be important is the first and the final is very important in reading, in writing or in speaking. Okay, development. So what is it about? The middle part of the article is planned and develop the overall idea. It may include description, quotation, narrative, what happened, or commentary. The paragraph may be longer than in new report. Okay, it's longer than in new report. It developing overall idea, right, or the main idea that support the topic. Okay, conclusion. The last paragraph usually mentioned in our idea again and often the opinion or comment about it. So just give the starter again, right? The introduction, give overall idea, the main idea again, and then give opinion. Note, the writing of may be more informal or personal in the first I than new article. Include writer own experience opinion. So it's give, right? Give author opinion. Not like in newspaper or website, don't give own opinion, right? This is give. Okay, the last one, say strategy. Go on page 202. Yeah, because it's more because you will do exercise a lot, right? That led to this three strategy. Chapter or section of textbook. So what chapter of text section of textbook? Just like here, right? Textbook. So what it is talk about, right? Writer of textbook want to help student reader find and understand the idea of their book. For this reason, the idea are usually explained clearly, and the text is well organized. The page are also formatted to help students notice important terms and concepts with heading, boxes, and special font letter style. They are also often illustrated and photographed. So it is to make the reader, especially student, right, to find and understand their text easily, right? For them. Okay, so what is outline of them? The first one is introduction. You can see the first paragraph of a section or chapter introduces the overall idea. It may come at the beginning, middle, or at the end of paragraph. So introduction is the same, right? For all the strategy you study, just give overall idea and then the main idea. Sometimes they give in the starter or introduction. Sometimes they don't give, just tell and then go to the middle, they tell the main idea, right? And development, the middle part content and explanation of the key concept and give information, okay, important fact or idea related to it. Division are usually include for new words related to the key concept. Okay, just explain more about the overall idea, right? The main idea of the introduction. The last one, this may include more than one paragraph. It is that the key concept and summarize the important fact and idea. Okay, so I talk about the text, then give the writer opinion, right? Just repeat what they talk about again. Okay, note, deposit in exercise 5 and 6, define and explain a term or concept. This is another pattern. This is common in textbook. This style is for more third person and academic using a kind of language professor or research used to talk about ideas. In both places, the conclusion are not included. Okay, so we this. Let's go to our book. Anything more you can ask me, right? Because our strategy here will have the real exercise, right, in our text. Okay, thank you.